I'm coming around to a Louis C.K. video that has been recommended multiple times. This is his SNL monologue. I thought he had multiple SNL monologues. This one is dated the 15th. The 15th. Oh my gosh. This video is dated 2015, but I don't know if that's actually when the monologue happened. I did have this saved in my to watch list, this specific one, because it was specifically linked to me or, put up in one of my comments. And also someone sent me a message about it on Facebook. Probably one of the same, it was one of the same people that had given me the original link. Anyway, I recently did a reaction and commentary of his Magic Mike bit. So this is coming very closely on the heels of that. I think what I will probably do, just because I don't want to put too many of the same together all at once, I'll probably pad some more in between them, some more comedy stuff. I don't know if this one will go up before the Magic Mike one or not. I did tell the gentleman that I was going to try to at least watch this one or check it out this week. So I am getting a tiny bit of a head start on it because it's not technically, well, yes, actually it is. I'm sorry. It is technically this week because now we're Sunday, early Sunday morning, and I'm running out of time because I got to go watch that show with my son. So I don't want to waste too much more time. I'm going to go ahead and jump right into this. I have no clue what he's going to say, but it's got to be something pretty cool or interesting because of how many times it's been recommended.
Thank you. Wow, thank you very much. Oh, stop. Hi. It's a little early for that. Well, thank you very much for being here. This is the 40th year of this show's existence, and this is the finale. So I'm very honored, honestly, to be asked to host it. So thanks, and I'm glad you guys are here. Yeah, it's fine. Anyway, I was born in 1967, and so I grew up in the 70s. So I'm not racist.
Okay, that was an opening.
However, I do have mild racism. It's the best I could do coming out of the 70s because that was a very racist decade. People said racist things all the time and nobody got offended. The only time somebody got offended if you said something racist in the 70s is when they would then say, like, hey, you interrupted me. I was saying something racist. Why did you? So I have mild racism. It's benign. It's not aggressive. It's not even negative racism. It's mild racism. I'll give you an example. Okay, like if I go to a pizza place I've never been to before, and it's run by 4 black women, I'll go like, See, it's very mild. It's extremely mild racism.
Okay.
I'll notice that. Yeah. You don't usually see that, 4 black women running a pizza place.
Well, that's not really racist.
Unless it's called 4 Black Girls Pizza or something like that. Like, that's the whole point of the place. It's mild. Here's another example of mild racism. If I say I'm in a hospital and the doctor comes in to treat me and the doctor's from China or India, I'll think, well, good.
Okay.
Good, more of that. Why not? It's very mild racism. Here's another example. If I'm in a gas station late at night and a young man comes in wearing a hooded sweatshirt, if he's white, I'll think, oh, he's an athlete. If he's black, unless he has a big smile on his face, then I become mildly racist, and this is what I think. I think, that's fine. Everything's fine. Nothing's gonna happen. No, of course I'm fine. Why did I even think that for a second? This is because I was raised in the 70s. The 70s were a very different time. The 70s, everything was different in the 70s than it is now, except the Middle East is exactly the same. It's exactly the same as it was in the 70s. It's been the same fights, and you know what? It's boring now. That's the worst part of it. When I was a kid, we were like, ugh, but you can't go like this for like 1,000 years. Yeah. After a while, when you fight, people don't care because when you're just both, you just keep fighting. Everybody's like, those guys are dicks. They just fight. That's what it's like. You know, like I have 2 kids and they fight sometimes. And when they first start fighting, I get concerned. I go in their room. I'm like, hey, what's going on? What's wrong? Why are we having some feelings? Can we listen to each other, please? Can we please just listen to each other? Okay, you go first. And then she goes, she's like, yeah, that sounds hard. Okay, thank you. Thank you. Okay, now you. Because I like this one a little more, so that's why I make it. And they work it out. You help them work it out. But if they keep fighting, you stop doing that. After a while, you just go in the room and you just go, hey, just shut up. Fuck you, you're both wrong. Because you won't stop fighting. You're in a family. There's other people in this family, and you're being a couple of selfish little bitches that won't fix anything. You share a room. We can't afford another room, so just deal with it. Somehow this has to do with Israel and Palestine. I don't know what's happening.
I get the point he's making, though. After a while, you just get fed up. You get tired
of it. Because my kids are like Israel and Palestine. And I'm like America. The little one's like Palestine because she always gets screwed. She gets the worst deals.
Okay.
She's like, she threw a rock at my face. I'm like, you're fine. Look, you have a great life. You get to take a rock to the face once in a while. You're fine.
It hurt.
The older one is like Israel. She comes up to me. She burnt all my dolls. I'm like, look, I can't do anything about it right now. Your sister is crazy. Please don't make me talk to her. I'll work it out, you and me, okay? We'll go out.
I didn't know
you
you
a
had
really
kids.
cool missile, and you do whatever you do with it. It's totally up to you. The 70s were very different. In the 70s, there was a child molester that lived in my hometown. And it wasn't a big deal. It wasn't like, we caught a child molester. It was just like, yeah, that's the house where the child molester lives. He lives where, hey, kids, don't be stupid or you'll get molested. Just stay away from the child molester house. I know because he did something to me when I was your age. So just stay away from the child molester house.
Oh.
We had a town child molester. His name was Jean-Baptiste. It's a true story.
Oh, gosh.
And he liked teenage boys. That's when you would find out, because I was a teenage boy. He didn't like me. I felt a little bad. Like, no, not you. It wasn't into me. But he would drive up next to teenage boys and he'd say, hello, would you like to go to McDonald's? And you're like, no. And he's like, why you don't like McDonald's? And then you're trapped, because of course everybody liked McDonald's. It was the 70s. And then I had one friend who used to get in the car. He'd be like, sure, I'll go. And he'd get in the car. He'd go to McDonald's and eat a burger. And then he'd say, see ya. And he'd just take off. And Jean-Baptiste was like, I did not get the respect for that child.
Geez.
And he foiled again. But he'd always try.
Oh, my God.
Maybe this time.
He does a good French accent.
Because child molesters are very tenacious people. They love molesting childs. It's crazy.
Child?
It's like their favorite thing.
Child.
I mean, it's so crazy because when you consider the risk in being a child molester, speaking not of even the damage you're doing, but the risk, there is no worse life available to a human than being a caught child molester. And yet they still do it.
Yeah.
Which you can only really surmise that it must be really good. I mean,
no.
But from their point of view, it must be amazing for them to risk so much.
The person in the background's like, yeah, no.
How do you think I feel? It's my last show, probably. Because... Look, I can't key into it because I love Mounds bars. I love Mounds bars. It's my favorite thing, right? But there's a limit.
You know, okay, it's almost done, but I'm going to say this because in case I forget, his style of comedy, pretty hard, like kind of hard hitting with some of his commentary. You know what it just reminded me of just now when I was watching this is Dave Chappelle. It reminded me of the, I think it was something that Chappelle did about Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson and also Jussie Smollett. Jussie Smollett or something. The way he said that guy's name was funny. I think he was talking about both of them the same one. But anyway, the way that he talked about it reminded me, I mean, the way he's talking about what he's talking about here, very serious subject matter, but the way he's presenting the material just made me think Dave Chappelle. I don't know. I might be completely off on that. I have seen both of their stuff, but it just sparked that thought in me just now, and I figured I need to say it before I forget. So, okay, here we go.
Thing, right? But there's a limit. I mean, I can't even eat a Mounds bar and do something else at the same time. That's how much I love them. Like, if I'm eating a Mounds bar, I can't read the paper like, I have to just sit there with it in my mouth and go, why is this so good? I love this so much. And because they are delicious. And yet, if somebody said to me, if you eat another Mounds bar, you'll go to jail and everybody will hate you, I would stop eating them. Because they do taste delicious, but they don't taste as good as a young boy does. And to a child molester, not to me, not to us, because we're all awesome.
But obviously with child molesters, there's something seriously wrong with them. There is something wrong with them. That is why they do what they do. It's like an addiction. They are sick. And they can't stop. So that's why they do what they do. I get what he's trying to do here, the comparison he's trying to make. What, like, well, but that's because I know he's got this little history of something that happened, but it was not a violation on anybody non-consenting. Somebody got real pissed at me that I did a reaction to him in the first place, and did their little hair flippy thing about how they had to unsubscribe. They couldn't support me because I watched one of his videos. Whatever. That's it's kind of gross to me what he did, but it doesn't cross over a line with me. I mean, it's that he didn't harm anybody. He didn't physically assault anybody. So, whatever. I don't know why I started on that while I was talking about this, but anyway, yeah, I get the point. I get what he's trying to do here, but it's like, he is really treading in some crazy water, isn't he?
All right, we did it. We got it.
It was done anyway. It was done.
Brianna is here, so stick around and we'll be right back.
Okay, I think that's the end of it. I don't want it to go to an ad or anything, but it was right there at the end. I didn't know he was about ready to stop anyway. Okay, so I feel like I've already said everything that I felt like I was, needing to say as I was watching it. This is not really something that I feel like I can offer a whole lot of additional commentary to it. It's pretty touchy subject matter. He doesn't seem to be afraid to go there, does he? That reminds me of the stuff he talked about in his, what was it? Something about, of course, but maybe. Yeah, of course, but maybe. I think that was the name of it. And he was brought up all of this stuff that was just like, it's like, oh man, really? But it is certainly, there's an art to being able to talk about this stuff, talk about this difficult subject matter sort of, and do it in a way that you don't get yourself canceled. Well, this was a few years ago. You can get canceled over anything nowadays, you guys. So I find that quite troubling. It disturbs me a lot. I do not like where we're headed with regard to stuff like that. People are way too sensitive. I think people in pampered first world countries, we just invent problems because I guess we're bored or something. And people just invent these issues that they feel like they need to go and crusade against or whatever. And cancel culture was not a thing a few years ago. It is now, very much so. And I immediately want to then support the person that's being canceled. Because very rarely, in my opinion, are they being canceled over something that is worth them being canceled over. And I'm kind of contrary a lot of times. And when somebody is screaming so loud about one thing, I almost intuitively want to take the opposite stance because I feel like they're just protesting a whole lot. They're going at it a little bit too hard. So then I just don't want to side with that. I don't know. Well, I guess it really depends on the issue, but I have discovered throughout the course of the past several years that the people who are screaming the loudest with the most fury and anger type of, attitude, they're the ones I agree with the least. I'm speaking in general, not every specific, situation. But anyway, it would be very difficult to, people are still trying to do it, but comedians I've heard more than one of them say how they are more reserved in some of the material that they tackle, or they're worried about saying some of the stuff that they're going to say because for fear of exactly what I was just talking about. So this is certainly sensitive subject matter. I do not know if he faced any fallout from this. And like I said, I do not know if this was his only appearance. I thought that I'd seen other videos around of him doing an SNL monologue. It's possible it was all different videos of this same appearance, but it looked like he was dressed differently. So I thought it was multiple appearances he made. I have not checked or anything, so I'm curious to find out if he got roasted really hard over what he did, the stuff that he talked about here. Because it's not like it's something that you can really joke about, child molestation. And yet comedians find a way to make jokes about or find a way of having people laugh about stuff that is pretty horrible, and yet they can still get us to laugh about something. Sometimes it's an uncomfortable laugh. Sometimes it's actually a really, you're laughing because it's actually really funny what they said, even though what they're talking about is terrible. Anyway. Okay. Well, this was quite interesting. I had no clue it was going to go there. I think by now I should know, right? Because the Magic Mike thing, that went places. Okay, you guys, that is it for this one. I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up. Yeah, I think I need to quit for the evening.